That's just Sandal's way. She speak with love, but don't sugarcoat what she say. She might be blunt, but it come from the heart. Real ones feel hurt, been solid from the start.
Hey everybody, give me a 2 if you can hear me in the chat before we get started. I'm so excited that you guys are here with me today. This is going to be something that most of you are not used to seeing here on my channel because we have so many new people, but we also have a lot of you who are probably used to hearing me do reaction style type of videos and things of that nature. I will begin to do more of those, but today I decided to come here and do something that will in the future live on the Sendile the Scientist channel indefinitely, right? So this information will be over there, right? That's where it will be most of the time. Oh my God. Can I just say that I am so happy that you're here? Can I say that? Because you have been someone on my channel that I have noticed your accountability is top tier. And your ability to hear what I say and to take those things in for yourself and to make new patterns and routine, like, it's unmatched. And I just want to applaud you for that. You're literally amazing. And as you collect those different things, you'll come back here on my channel and leave a comment and say things. I just love your accountability and I want to thank you for that. And today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into those things. So if you're ready to have the same type of energy that my Miracle 79 has, then please give me a 3 in the chat. And if you are here, so YouTube will send this out to more people, do me a favor and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and hype the video. You only get 3 hypes a week. Spend it on me because I promise this will be worth your while. Before I dive in, just look, this is what we're going over. It's a lot. Hold on, I'm gonna keep going until we get to the very end, and I promise it's going to be worth your while. Yes, all of my hands-on. If you want me to be the person that helps you, yes, that costs money, but the value that I'm about to give you for free right now, girl, listen. Boy, listen. All right, we're going through all of that, everything that you just seen. So if you already feel like you want to say thank you before you even watch, like, say thank you to me for putting all this effort in to answer these questions so you guys are not constantly confused, then let me know. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so hopping directly into this, There was something that I saw this morning because I am on social media just like all of you. And not only that, even when I get to the places that I try to avoid, I received a message this morning from someone, and that is what triggered this conversation. Even though I was already doing this for my own personal research, I decided to go ahead and put this together for you and put my notes together publicly and go over them together, right? So today we are talking about what I believe grease is actually doing to the hair and scalp: occlusion, sebum, the scalp microbiome, and why soft does not automatically mean healthy. All right, that's what we're unpacking today. So this is just like a little AI version, even though my lips ain't that big. But I just really want you to know that I am a scientist and I am not here to argue with anyone. So I started my career as a cosmetologist, but I didn't stop at learning how to do hair. I wanted to understand the biology and the science behind what I was seeing. So I took my education further, and I'm continuing to take it a lot further than I've already taken it thus far. I approach the hair and the scalp health as a scientist and a researcher. I observe patterns. I develop hypotheses. I study biological mechanisms, and I compare those observations with published research and remain willing to change my conclusions when better evidence becomes available. Okay? I am not here to argue. I am here to investigate. Debate for the sake of debate gets us absolutely nowhere. So if you disagree with something that I present, that is perfectly fine. Bring research, though. Bring data. Bring a biological mechanism worth investigating. That's how science moves forward. But it doesn't move forward by us sitting in the comment. I don't think this because my grandma used to put this on my scalp. It's annoying. And when you hear the passion and the irritation in my voice, that is where it's coming from, because this is where my intention is set. Because personal attachment to a product, a tradition, a technique, or a belief is not scientific evidence, and I don't entertain that. Science should not be emotional. A result does not become true because we like it, and it doesn't become false because it challenges something that we've done for years, for centuries, for decades. My work will sometimes challenge conventional cosmetology techniques, including things I originally taught myself because I had to learn. That is the point of continuing your education. I'm not asking anyone to blindly believe me. Read the research, examine the evidence, observe your own results, and ask better questions. Take the information or leave it, girl. But if we're going to discuss the science, let's discuss the science. Take out the emotion, or you can sign out. All right. So give me a 2 in the chat if you understand what I'm saying and if I can keep moving, please. Because science should not be emotional. We shouldn't be debating. I think this, my grandma. It doesn't matter. Science doesn't care about your grandma and how your grandma oiled and greased her scalp. I'm not here to talk about that in any way, shape, or form. I want to talk to people who can think critically. I need you to think critically. And when I get frustrated and when you hear the passion in my voice, it's not because I'm easily offended or I'm mad. I'm not mad. I'm irritated. I'm irritated that I want so desperately for you to open that part of your mind's eye that you've allowed to be closed off. I want you to open it. And I get irritated when you don't allow yourself to think past this artificial layer that people have left you. So I see a lot of confirmation. And yes, no, science don't give a damn about your grandma, girl. My grandma used to grease her scalp. Girl, don't nobody care about your grandma or your aunties, girl. Okay, let's get started. I love you guys for being here too. And if you want to follow along with me within my Verdant pages, then make sure you just check the links in the description box below. Okay? Okay. So after years of observing hair and scalp behavior, I have developed a working thesis that is different from the way grease and oil are usually discussed in hair care. My position is not simply petroleum is bad. It's bad, it's horrible. Oil's bad, it's horrible. No, it's not that simple. That's way too simplistic. And we know I don't do simplistic, right? If you guys want to get a visual breakdown, because I am both a audible visual learner, all of the things, but some people need visuals. So if you need the visuals, make sure you head over to the Verdant pages and you can look at all of the PDFs that give you a visual representation of the things that I'm saying. And when we finish, if you guys want me to go break down these visuals step by step, then we will do that too. Okay. So let's get into it. Holistic plus scalp research. All right. So this person, I ended up seeing a response to a person that was on YouTube. This person will remain nameless, but they teach everyone that oil and grease is great, right? And they are really, really bent on grease more than oil. And they actually teach people to use leave-in conditioner and then hair grease and then blow dry the hair. So that's what we're tackling today. Give me a 5 and or say I do that. Say, yeah, I do that. I use leave-in conditioner and grease before I blow dry my hair. Say I do that. It is okay. I am not here to attack anyone. We're unpacking the science, because so many times here on social media, people make everything absolute, and that is not absolute. All right, let's get into it. The person said, my hair was so soft, right? They said that I listened to what you said and I shampooed my hair, then I put on leave-in conditioner and then hair grease, and then I blow dry my hair. And oh my God, my hair felt so soft. My hair felt amazing, right? My hair was so soft. And let's get into that. That may describe a successful styling result, but it does not by itself prove that hair became healthier or that the scalp became like more tolerable or feeling well or had a better routine just because it felt softer. So this is something that I really need you to unpack, because there are so many times that how many times have you done this? How many times have you seen a product on the shelf and you've made a decision that this was a good product because you see that your hair, or you feel your hair feeling better? How many times have you made a choice or a decision like, this product is better for my hair because my hair feels silkier and smoother? That is what most women use as a determining factor for how their hair feels. If whether or not their hair is healthy or damaged, you use the way that it feels as a determining factor. But I believe the commenter. I do. I believe that the hair feels good. Leave-in conditioner, petroleum-based grease, blow drying, and flat ironing can make hair feel remarkably smooth by reducing friction, coating the fiber, and temporarily improving its surface alignment, right? But immediate softness is a cosmetic observation, not evidence of structural repair or health of the scalp. And that distinction is the central focus of this thesis and of my article that you're reading right now, because hair can feel softer because the surface is lubricated. That doesn't mean your hair is healthier. Hair can feel softer because the surface of the hair is lubricated while the underlying fiber damage remains unchanged, and while the scalp beneath it is being irritated, inflamed, or accumulating product, right? Petroleum is not inherently harmful, though, right? It is a well established occlusive that can be used in appropriate dermatologic context. Now, I want you to do me a favor right now. Everybody who can hear the sound of my voice, I want you to type the word occlusive in the chat, because occlusive is the word of the day. That is the main focus that I want you to have, because most of you are concerned about moisture, words like slip, words like hydration. We're not focused on that. The word that we are focused on today is occlusive. So I need somebody to put that word in the chat, because that is our focus. And if we can have a point of focus, then nobody will be confused. If we can have a point of focus, then we won't argue. We won't be going back and forth. Let's have a point of focus. Our point of focus today in this discussion is the word occlusive. Thank you so much. You are the teacher's pet today. Can I just say that? Okay, the teacher's pet. Okay, okay. So I'm gonna leave this right here. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, so let's get into it. And remember, give this video a thumbs up, get the likes up, like hype the video, all of the things, and comment, say things to me so they can know that this video needs to get out there. Okay. So petroleum is not inherently harmful, and it is a well-established occlusive that can be useful in appropriate contexts, right? However, the evidence remains unsolved regarding whether repeated scalp use directly alters the microbiome increase, right? The malassezia activity contributes to follicular plugging or causes inflammation in a particular person. The more precise question, and this is what I need y'all to pay attention to, because as a scientist, I'm asking questions, doing research to answer those questions. The more precise question is what may happen when a heavy occlusive is repeatedly applied to a living sebum producing scalp and combined with heat, sweat, styling residue, mechanical manipulation, and delayed cleansing, especially in someone already experiencing dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis, folliculitis, buildup, itching, or barrier irritation. Does this make sense? Say it makes sense in the chat if it's when it's making sense to you, so I know that I'm not just talking to myself. Please, for the people. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh my God. So, to evaluate that question responsibly, we must separate three outcomes that are often treated as something that's interchangeable, right? How the hair feels, what happened to the hair's fiber, and what is happening on the scalp. These are three questions that you need to ask yourself. Everybody wants to make everything like everybody's pulling out all of these different techniques and stop. Don't do that. Let's focus on the human body. What is the human body? How was it created? What is it made to do? What is your scalp actually made to do? What is the sebaceous gland actually made to do? And once you know those things, how are the things that you're using helping your body to do those things that it's supposed to do? Again, how does the hair feel? What has happened to the hair's fiber and what is happening on the scalp? These outcomes are related, but they are not the same. Hair may feel soft because it's been coated, while the strand still carries thermal and mechanical damage, and the scalp remains like not really that healthy, but irritated or somewhere in between. Some aspects of this discussion are established by research. Others are biologically plausible, but that depends on the individual, the product, the amount, the frequency, and the scalp condition. Still, others remain unresolved. Now, one thing I really want us to unpack real quick is this conversation between petroleum and what petroleum is. Your hair grease and the petroleum that comes from the crude oil from the fossil fuel that is at the bottom of the ocean is the same thing. And anybody who tells you that the grease that you're putting on your scalp and the petroleum that is in the jar that doctors use and the stuff that you put in your car, if anybody that tells you that they're two different things, they're crazy and they don't know what they're talking about. These are all the same thing. I already did a video about petroleum, where it comes from, all of the things. I'll leave the description, the video in the description box below. But it is important that you understand this, because if you don't, you'll begin going around over and over again, repeating things and being confused, where in reality, the keys are really, really simple. My concern is what happens when we repeatedly cover a naturally functioning scalp and hair fiber with external grease and oils, particularly when the scalp is already producing its own sebum, harboring its own microbial community, and consistently exchanging water with the surroundings. Why would we do that? What I repeatedly observe is that when people stop consistently applying oils and grease directly to the scalp and hair, cleanse appropriately and allow the scalp's own biology to function, many of them begin producing enough natural sebum to coat the hair shaft gradually and allow it to travel down the hair shaft with their practices. Hair that they previously described as dry begins looking shinier, more flexible, and better lubricated without requiring repeated layering of grease and oil. That clinical observation is important to me. That's why I'm so passionate when I speak on it. But it needs to be separated from what science has already proven. So here is my thesis. Okay. Give me a three if you're ready for my thesis. We can hop into it because I need everybody to be following me at this point. This is not me making up anything. Okay. The scalp is already a lipid rich ecosystem. A healthy scalp is not a blank surface waiting for us to just put something on it. Just for you to put oil and grease on it when you wash it. Most women and men are under the impression that it's, and I'm speaking to my people. So don't be in my comments, why are you taking black people? Shut your face. I'm talking directly to my people because I love y'all. And when you love somebody, you care about them. And when you care about them, if you see them doing something that will hurt them, you care more about them being upset with you from keeping them from being hurt than you care about anything else. So I really don't care how y'all feel about me. I've been telling y'all what not to do, and some people have been listening to me and avoiding those things, and that means more to me than anything. So if only 5 people that hear the sound of my voice avoid the types of issues that people have to pay me thousands of dollars to treat, then that's enough for me. I'm not here for tens and thousands of views. I don't care anything about that. If they come, hello, but that's not what I'm here for. Like I said, the scalp is already a lipid rich ecosystem, and a healthy scalp is not a blank surface waiting for us to put oil on it. It already produces oil. Again, head over to the blog if you need to see like visuals and all of the things. Sebaceous glands associated with the hair follicle continuously produce sebum at all times. Excuse me. That sebum is released through the sebaceous gland. And this is the gland in the scalp and the part of the scalp that actually reaches the skin surface. Sebum contains triglycerides, wax esters, squalene, cholesterol related lipids, fatty acids, and so many other things. And those lipids serve several biological and physical purposes. They contribute to lubrication, they participate in the skin's surface environment, they interact with the scalp microbiome, and they naturally coat portions of the hair that is emerging from the hair's follicle. The scalp is also populated by microorganisms, including the ones that are below, because I'm not about to sit out here and stress myself out and say anyone other than Malassezia yeast and Staphylococcus. The rest of them, y'all can sound them out on your own, and many others. This is normal. The scalp is not supposed to be like just completely sterile. That's not what I'm saying. Modern microbiome research shows that only oily skin site supports microorganisms that are adapted to lipid-rich environments, particularly Malassezia yeast, right? Sebum itself provides nutrients for several different microorganisms on the scalp. And every time you hear or see of a microorganism or bacteria and stuff, it's not all bad. We all know that we both need good and bad bacteria for the scalp to be healthy. We know this. So before we put anything on the scalp, there is already an active system involving sebum, water, keratin, microorganisms, immune activity, and environment exposure. And that matters. But give me a three in the chat if you can acknowledge the fact that most Black people completely ignore the scalp's ecosystem. Most Black people don't even pay attention to that. You think that your scalp is just blank and bare and there's nothing living there, and it's not true. Again, it contains sebum, water, keratin, microorganisms, immune activity, and environmental exposure. So why do you think that putting something that, what is the word of the day? Occlusive. If this is the system that is happening on your scalp, why would you add an occlusive substance to that? Does that make sense? Somebody put occlusive in the chat again. This is why I told you to pay attention to the word occlusive. And the word occlusive needs to stay in your head until the end of this conversation, because occlusive products is what oils and greases are. That's what it is. When you put an oil or a grease or on your scalp, you are putting an occlusive product on your scalp. But let's keep going, because until we unpack it, people are going to feel weird. So then we add grease. Petroleum and many heavy hair greases are strongly occlusive. Occlusion means that the material forms a hydrophobic barrier that reduces water loss from the surface underneath it. Again, occlusion means that the material forms a hydrophobic barrier that reduces water loss from the surface underneath it. So you're not adding anything to your scalp. You're just preventing all of the things that are there from leaving. You're creating a prison. You're creating a prison. Putting grease on the scalp is like putting bars on the scalp. It's a prison. Petroleum is so effective at doing this that researchers commonly use it as a positive control when studying occlusion. And that's what people don't understand. Studies measuring transepidermal water loss have shown that petroleum, it really, really substantially reduces water loss in the skin. It keeps the hydration that you have within your body from leaving, but I'm getting ahead of myself. That property is exactly why petroleum can be excellent in certain medical situations. If damaged skin is losing excessive water, reducing that water loss can be beneficial for damaged skin. But the scalp hair care is a different biological context. It's completely different. What you're trying to do on your arm or on your elbows when you put on petroleum is different than what you need to happen on the scalp through the microbiome of the scalp and through the scalp's ecosystem. Does that make sense? These are the things that you have to think about. The way that your legs operate and the way that your scalp operates are not the same. So why are you treating your scalp the same way that you treat your legs? Again, if damaged skin is losing water, okay. But we're not talking about the scalp. You know why? At every point in time, if the follicle and if the hair shaft and if the scalp is being treated properly, your sebaceous gland is always producing oil. So there's never a time that you need to add it. It's always producing sebum. Always. The scalp already has sebum, sweat, microorganisms, dead skin cells, and environmental material. So when we repeatedly spread a thick, occlusive layer over that environment, my question becomes, what are we retaining under that layer? And it's not a rhetorical question. I need at least one person that's hearing me to tell me, what do you think? What do you think you're retaining other than water? Because I've given you multiple things that are on the scalp. So other than water, what do you think that you're retaining by putting all of those different layers of things on the scalp? What do you think you're retaining? These are the things that I need you to understand, and I really need you to unpack them, because if we can unpack them and people can really sit here and think about it, we get there. I don't have time for people who cannot think for themselves. If you just came in, I am not here for those who want to argue and go back and forth. This is how I feel about that. Okay, I am here for the people who want to learn. That is what we're here for. This can't make, we have to make sense of this. We can't keep going around this same mountain over and over and over again. We can't keep doing it. At one point, somebody has to make it make sense. So again, what is under this layer? Because we know we've already established, science has proven that petroleum and the hair grease that also has the same exact fossil fuel that was made with your gas, petroleum, and everything that it's the same thing. It's the same thing. We've already established that it creates an amazing occlusive layer. So now that you know all of the things that we talked about, what are you holding on to? What is under that layer? What is under the layer? I need somebody to, at least one person to say it, so it don't look like I'm putting words in people's mouths. I need at least one person to say, what is under that? Thank you. Thank you. You're retaining bacteria that causes scalp problems. And let's go back, because when I say this, people are like, oh my God, she don't know what she's talking about. She making it up. Your scalp's microflora, we just talked about all of the things that the scalp contains. And when you put an occlusive layer on it, you're blocking it and it's staying there. So is it holding on to the moisture that's within your body? Absolutely, because your hair and your scalp get moisture in two ways. It gets it from the environment and it gets it from the water that you drink. So when you put it on your scalp, your body already has the water and the hydration from the water that you drink. But if you have an occlusive layer on your scalp and if you have an occlusive layer on your hair, can you please explain to me how your water is going to absorb water from the environment? That's not a rhetorical question. I need one person to answer me in the comments. So, occlusion can change microfloral conditions. That part of my thesis is strongly supported by broader skin microbiome research. Occluded skin becomes warmer and more humid. Skin biology studies have repeatedly shown that moist and occluded anatomical regions support microbial communities different from dry exposed sites. A major review of the skin microbiome notes that partially occluded regions have higher temperatures and humidity, and that these conditions encourage the growth of microbiome adapted to moist environments. So, with us unpacking that part of research, right? I want you to think about how you would do a wash and go, and how you would grease the scalp, and how you leave your hair wet, and how you let your hair air dry, still adding oil, still adding grease, still adding butters. Give me a 3 in the chat when these things are making sense. We're not saying, oh, Sid, what Sid said is right. We are talking about peer-reviewed studies and science. Science does not say, I'm right and you're wrong. No, science says God is magnificent. Somebody created this. We are studying this creation and trying to understand exactly how to master it. And you do not master a human body. You do not master a scalp that needs to absorb things from the environment and that needs to release things from the body by performing and creating an occlusive layer or barrier on it. Does that make sense? If you know that the condition of your scalp, if you know that your hair and your scalp need to get oxygen from the environment, if you know, because your hair doesn't breathe, so your hair shaft isn't getting oxygen from the environment, but it's pulling water from the environment. So if you know that your hair needs to pull water from the environment, can you please explain to me how you put in an occlusive layer that keeps anything from getting into it is helping? I just need you to explain it to me. Make it make sense. And if you can't make it make sense, then why are you doing it? That's the question we need to ask. If you cannot make these things make sense, if you can't answer these questions, then why are you doing it? Other than the simple fact that your favorite YouTuber told you to. You need an answer bigger than that, baby. You do. We know that for a fact. That bacteria is going to grow way faster if you're washing your clothes, if you wash your clothes and then you leave your clothes in the washing machine for a day or two and it stays moist in there and for every reason it don't dry out and you open it, what is it going to smell like? Is it going to smell good or is it going to start smelling like ass? Huh? Is it going to start smelling like mildew? What's going to happen? These are the things that I need you to think about. Your hair is a fiber, just like the fibers in your clothes. Why do you think that the fibers that your clothes are made of perform differently than the fibers attached to your scalp that grow within your gut? This is something that I really need you to think about. Give me a 3 in the chat when it makes sense. That same review reports that skin occlusion can raise the skin surface pH, which can also alter which microorganisms are favored. Another review states that complete prolonged skin occlusion can increase humidity, pH, and microbiome growth. This does not prove that putting grease on somebody's scalp automatically, like the second you do it, produces disease. No, but it supports the biological principle behind my concern 100%. Occlusion changes the environment in which microorganisms are living, and that is important. Why do you think that Black women lead in follicle infections right now? Why? Because you are the group of women that believe in occlusion. That's why. That's why. Somebody put the word occlusion in the comments. The reason that Black women lead in follicle disorder is because we lead in occlusion. We use more occlusive products than anybody else, and then we don't remove them. We're constantly oiling and greasing the scalp, and we also believe that dirt makes hair grow, and we should leave those occlusive layers on the scalp. And what are we doing? What's happening? What's happening under the scalp? What's happening under that occlusive layer? We already talked about it. I promise I'm not talking y'all to death. If y'all paying attention, all of this is connected. If you paying attention, the more I talk, you're gonna be like, oh my God, oh shit, oh my God. If you paying attention. So if the purpose of petroleum, if the purpose of petroleum and the purpose of grease is to produce an occlusive layer, and scientists have proven that when you produce or when the scalp has occlusive layers all over, we already see scientists have proven that you create an environment that causes microorganisms to grow. Why do you think there's so many Black women that'll go to a dermatologist? The dermatologist will give them something to do, and no matter what you do, it won't work, because guess what you're doing while you're at home doing what the dermatologist told you to do, and you putting it on your scalp. You know what you're doing? You're also greasing the scalp, because you can't let go, because there's some type of spiritual bind on your mind that will not let you look past what they taught you before. You literally refuse to look at scientific studies that have already been shown. I really need y'all to pay attention. Pay attention. I'm not here yelling at you. I'm not upset. If you've been here since the beginning, you know that I'm passionate because I want them to stop playing in your face, and I want you to stop letting them. I need you to stop letting them. That doesn't make sense. Does any of this shit make sense to y'all? Knowing everything that I've told you about the human scalp, what it needs, how God already made it, does putting an occlusive layer like petroleum, like grease, I don't give a damn what these bald head niggas tell y'all. And if you offended by how I talk, this ain't the place for you. I don't care what they say. Putting an occlusive layer on top of the skin only blocks you from gaining hydration from the environment. It only blocks the skin's microflora from escaping. It doesn't help do anything. And just because your hair feels softer does not mean your hair is healthy. These are the things that we have to unpack. And listen, I'm so proud to be a Black woman. Oh my God, I'm so proud to be a Black woman. Ooh, the way y'all talk, the way y'all make people like, oh shit, you better shut up. I love it so much, but I can't stand it when people are loud and wrong. I'm sick of my people looking stupid. I'm sick of my people looking loud and wrong and looking stupid when this information is right in front of your face. I need you to think about it. Give me a 2 in the chat. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to put an occlusive layer on your scalp, and then you wondering why my scalp dry? Why is my hair dry? You have an occlusive layer on it. In the hospital, petroleum is our favorite. It's their favorite. In the hair salon, I'm gonna ask y'all this question, then we're gonna move on. In the hair salon, what do we use? What do we use to block to protect the scalp from chemicals? What do we use? And remember, there's people who don't know what the hell they're talking about that tells you that the petroleum that's in the jar is different from the grease. It is not. What is the thing in the hair salon? I need one person to tell me what is the thing in the hair salon or in at home. If you're doing a relaxer or color at home, what is the one thing that's in there that that's protecting your skin from the chemicals? Thank you. Thank you. And why? Because it creates an occlusive layer. And because it creates an occlusive layer, the Vaseline and the petroleum and the petroleum, all of it comes from the same source. All of it comes from the same source. We use this to block the pores so that no chemical can get inside of the pore or the follicle. So why do you think that putting the same product on your scalp is going to somehow cause moisture to do? Like, does it make sense? I'm not being, come on. Like, I want to think that right now I'm in a room talking to a bunch of my sisters and we can have real conversations. Ain't none of y'all soft. I know everybody ain't from where I'm from, but hopefully I got some chicks in here from Detroit, from Chicago, from New York, from some places that's hard, that understand the tone of my voice is passion and not me being upset. Does it make sense? I need it to make sense. Let's keep going. So, occlusion again. Occlusion changes the environment in which microorganisms are living, and that is important. I do not believe we should think of grease as moisture because it's not. This is one of my biggest disagreements with mainstream hair language. Grease can help retain water. That is different from being water. Do y'all understand that? And I'm not being a smart ass. I really want you to, like, when the next time you hear somebody saying it, I need you to be thinking of these things that I'm saying in the back of your mind's eye. There's a difference between retention from grease being able to hold on some of the hydration and from it actually being the hydration. It's not hydration. Petroleum is occlusive. Its primary moisture related function is slowing down water loss. It just slows down water loss, which is the same reason that y'all thought coconut oil was good for the hair, because some girl who's now cut all of her hair off because of hormones, now she's lost all of her hair, as I said you guys would, because she stood by coconut oil, thinking that because coconut oil slows down water loss, that it's somehow moisturizing. It's not moisturizing. It's holding on to the water that you already have in your hair, not allowing you to get any more. Does that make sense? If I'm creating an occlusive barrier, not only am I holding on to what you already have, you're not getting anything else. So your hair is going to be dry unless you use me. That's how it is. And this is something that I really need you to understand. Its primary moisture related function is slowing down water loss. It is not water. It does not add hydration. Researchers studying moisture distinguish these three things, these three differences, and I need everybody to write these down. I like, take a screenshot if you must, but if you have a pen or some paper next to you and dry scalp and dry hair is something that you pressed about and you are constantly looking up products, or let's say you somebody that's listening to the sound of my voice and you don't believe me and your ears are like, oh my God, why is she always talking about this? It's a strawberry. I'm irritated. If you're that person, right? I also need you to write this down. And hold on, wait, I just saw. He said, seeing whenever I try to talk about hair education with people, they like to say, well, my hair is different. Girl, just stop talking to these people, girl. If I can't do it, I doubt it. If, girl, I don't know. Maybe the Lord, I don't know, girl. Okay. So write these 3 down. Humectancy, which is attracting or binding water. Emotancy, which is smoothing the surface. And occlusion, which is reducing water loss. So the first word is attracting or binding water. That's humectancy. So when you're like, this is a humectant, that's what you're looking at. When we're talking about, oh, that is an emotant, it's talking about smoothing the surface, not giving you moisture. And when we talk about occlusion, we're talking about reducing water loss. So most of the time, y'all all bind all three of these things together, but they are very different. And by you understanding that these 3 things are very different, you can stop following the same stupid stuff over and over again. Somebody, please, I am literally begging you, take a screenshot of this right now. Take a screenshot of this. And then when we get done, I need y'all to go over to my blog and I need you to look at this. If y'all can understand the difference between humectancy, emotancy, and occlusion, we'll be okay. But y'all combine all 3 of these things together as if they're the same thing, and they're not. Those mechanisms are not interchangeable. So when somebody applies grease, they say, my hair is moisturized because it becomes soft. No. Your hair is not moisturized because it's soft. You put an emotant on your hair which smooths the surface. But you didn't, it held on to some of the moisture loss, but it didn't with the occlusion. But you haven't gotten any new water, nowhere. It's not drawing in water. Nothing about grease draws in water. With all you have is occlusion and emotancy. That's it. But you have no humectancy at all whatsoever. And the leave-in conditioner you put on doesn't count when you put oil on it because you produce occlusion. Does that make sense? Somebody could please give me a 2 in the chat if it makes sense. I don't want to move on if it doesn't make sense. Does that make sense? Humectancy, emotancy, and occlusion are not the same thing. They're not. And the faster we understand these things, the easier hair care becomes. The easier it becomes because it's not that complicated. I promise you it's not. I promise you it's not. But if they can make it overcomplicated and if they can have y'all doing all 3 of these things at the same time, thinking that something's happening, then here you go. But the truth of the matter is nobody in none of the patterns and routines that y'all do are causing you to have humectancy, emotancy, and occlusion all at the same time. It's not happening. And most of the people, if a lot of them watch my videos, we know that, we've already established that. But I bet money if you was to ask them which level does this fall in and what can we do that can combine all 3 of these together without hurting our hair shaft and without weighing it down, they're gonna look you in the face like you crazy. But guess who know how to do it? And guess who's been doing it for decades? Cosmetologists. Cosmetologists are trained to get both humectancy, emotancy, and occlusion all at the same time in a healthy way. But y'all told everybody that hairstylists and cosmetologists are bad. And now y'all have been chasing humectancy by itself, emotancy by itself, occlusion by itself, and not knowing what any of these things are. That's the problem. I think we need to ask what actually changed. Did the hair acquire significantly more water, or did friction decrease because the fibers were coated? Those are 2 different things. But you will say, oh, my hair is no longer rubbing together and it's not getting matted and tangled as much. So, oh my God, my hair is hydrated now. No, it's not. No, it's not. You just put an emotant on it. That's it. Does that make sense? These are 2 completely different outcomes. That is why I keep returning to this distinction. Softness is a sensory measurement. It's a sensory measurement. It's not, oh, it's soft, so it's healthy. No, that's just how it feels. Just like some of them niggas that be whispering in your ear and trying to make y'all feel all good and stuff. Oh my God, he made me feel good. That's why you keep getting played, because you looking at the sensory measurement. Oh, he made me feel good. He said I was cute. He's just the way you made me feel. He made me feel so cute. He made me feel so good. That's how we get there. But the health is a biological condition. Health is what's actually happening to the hair. But when y'all focus on greases and oil, oh, my hair feels good. That is, it's a sensory measurement. I need you to be focused on the biological condition of your hair, because hair can be soft because it has been coated. Your hair is coated. It's not healed. The hair shaft is a keratinized tissue. Once it emerges from the scalp, it's biologically dead, meaning like the nerves are dead and it can't reproduce itself anymore. That's it. But it's still very active. It cannot heal itself like the skin can. So when you, oh, I put it on and my hair feels so much better. No. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Hair products can dramatically improve the way damaged hair behaves and the way that it feels. They can reduce friction, smooth lifted cuticles, increase shine, improve compatibility, and make rough strands feel so soft. Oh, yes. But none of those observations prove that the original structural damage has disappeared. If anything, it's being covered up. It's just wearing a mask. And that is why I keep returning to the distinction. Softness is a sensory measurement. Health is a biological condition, and they are not synonymous to each other. Does the science make sense? Just say science in the chat really quick, and then we'll keep going. We halfway there, kind of, sort of. Gonna get water. We're kind of there, you know. Okay. We're almost there. Okay. Hair naturally exchanges water with its environment. Okay. This is another part of hair science that is often overlooked. And this is something that I really need y'all to get into. This is something that I really, really need you to understand, because hair is hygroscopic. What does that mean? That means it can absorb water from the environment. Laboratory research shows that human hair readily absorbs water, and that the amount of water inside of the fiber changes according to relative humidity. So you'll find that somebody who lives in Nevada, like me, right? Somebody who lives in Nevada, we don't have as much moisture in the air, little to none. Our hair and the way that we do our hair and the products that we use will be a little different than somebody who lives where I'm from originally, which is in Detroit, Michigan. In Detroit, Michigan, girl, ain't nothing but water in the air. But guess what? I'm using the same products most of the time on both, unless the porosity is different. There are just certain techniques and patterns that are changed, but I'm not oiling one and greasing the other and using grease on one, but no grease on the other. No. This is why it's important to understand the body. I have clients all over the world. The humidity, oh, it's hot out here. No, that's not a factor. It's not. Well, I shouldn't say it's not a factor. It's not a factor that you're just like, oh, I have to add grease because I'm here. No. And these are the things that I want you to understand. Again, that means it can absorb water from the environment. Laboratory research shows that human hair readily absorbs water, and that amount of water inside of the fiber changes according to relative humidity. One review reports that hair can increase substantially in water content and diameter as the environmental humidity, oh my God, I can't talk. Humidity rises, right? Because as the humidity rises, Sometimes the amount of water that is in your hair is going to change. Of course, why would it change? We can all guess this on our own. We don't have to make up no woo-woo nothing. If your hair gets all of the moisture from the environment and there's not as much moisture in the environment, a woman who lives in Las Vegas, Nevada will have more moisture in her hair than somebody from Michigan would, right? So if you watching a video of somebody who live here in Vegas and they telling you, oh, put this much water on your hair, do this, do this, do that, and then you do it there, your hair is going to suffer way faster. The weathering and the scalp inflammation, baby, it's going to happen either way. But you have some women that'll be like, see, you don't know what you're talking about because I've been doing this for 40 years and it's been cool, but where you live? Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But slowly but surely, your magnificent body stops being able to fight against you. And then that's when all of a sudden you be combing your hair and then it start falling out. That's when all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I used this product and all my hair fell out. Sometimes it's the product, but almost 70% of the time it's just the hair and scalp weather. It just officially popped up. And you blaming the product, but in reality, it's everything that you've been doing this whole time. One review reports that hair can increase substantially in water context and diameter as the humidity rises. And on my blog, I have all of these scientific studies. Just click these all of these parts that are highlighted, and then you can go read the scientific studies for yourself. I'm not here to argue with nobody about nothing. If you want to argue, go argue with some of them scientists, and they're not going to entertain you. Experimental research has also shown that hair water rises and relative humidity increases. So hair moisture is not simply you drink water, therefore your hair becomes moisturized. No, drinking adequate water is important for the health of living tissue, including the skin and the follicles. But the mature hair fiber itself exchanges water directly with the surrounding environment. And that is so important for my thesis, right? Because yes, you can get a bunch of hydration to your hair from the water that you drink. But if the majority of your hydration, if the majority of the moisture that you need is coming from the environment, does putting an occlusive product that is going to stop any water from leaving or coming in make sense? That's not a rhetorical question. I really need you to answer that for me. I really need you to, as a scientist, I really need you to answer that for me. If knowing that the majority of the moisture and the hydration that your hair gets is from the environment, does it make sense to put an occlusive layer on the scalp and on the hair shaft? That's why the word occlusive has been the word that I want us to stick with into the end of this discussion. I really need that to be the thing that we are talking about into the end of this discussion. Because these are the things that don't really make sense. And I need you to make it make sense. But the mature hair fiber itself exchanges water directly with the surrounding environment. That is important for my thesis because when we coat the hair with heavy hydrophobic materials, we are modifying the surface through which the normal water exchange occurs. I would not claim that grease completely prevents all environmental water from entering the hair. That has not been demonstrated, and that's not what I'm saying. But a heavy hydrophobic coating can certainly alter the fiber surface priority and the water intake. And that's true. And that deserves more attention, but we're not giving any attention to that because all we're paying attention to is what people are telling y'all to do on social media. And you're paying attention to how your hair feels when you run your fingers through it instead of you just paying attention to the science. So my working theory is that constant coating can interfere with the normal hair water exchange. This is where I distinguish my clinical thesis from established research. Hair naturally absorbs and releases water depending on the environmental conditions. Heavy grease creates a hydrophobic coating. And hydrophobic means that it can't, like it blocks water and moisture, right? That's what I need you to understand. Hydrophobic means that it's blocking, and hydrophobic means that it's bringing it in. We therefore have a reasonable scientific question. Does repeated heavy coating alter the normal rate at which textured hair takes up and releases environmental water? I'm going to ask you again. Does repeated heavy coating alter the normal rate at which textured hair takes up and releases environmental water? That specific question deserves direct study, but nobody's paying attention to it. You just added more water, more grease, more oils, more butters. The literature already shows that cosmetic treatments and changes to the hair fiber alter moisture absorption and deabsorption. And this is a fact. Go ahead and touch it here. Click here and go over to the scientific studies. So I do not think that it's unreasonable to investigate whether persistent grease layering also changes this behavior. What I will not say is grease blocks 100% of environmental moisture. No. That's why there's a time and a place where you use greases. There's a time and a places where you use butter. There's a time and a place where you use oil. We do not have evidence for that all of a sudden 100%. No, but the way you're using it, the way y'all use it, absolutely. My position is more precise. Grease changes the interface between the hair and its environment. And that may influence more normal water exchange. That's what I need y'all to pay attention to. The fact that y'all patterns and y'all routines are causing y'all to create so much disruption on the scalp, because then there's the scalp's microbiome. The scalp does not merely contain the scalp does not merely contain microorganisms. Those microorganisms are a metabolically active, extremely active, and some dependent on the heavy lipids. So depending on how much oils and greases and butters you're putting on, that will determine how the microflora is moving on your scalp metabolically. That's just how it's going to go. Malassezia yeast, for example, Malassezia in particular is adapted to sebaceous areas of the body, which means that it loves your sebum. So when you let it overpopulate, that's when you end up getting things like dandruff or seborrheic dermatitis, when you're adding more occlusive layers on top of the sebum that's coming out of your scalp. Because whether you acknowledge the natural microflora or your scalp is still going to produce. Whether you acknowledge the sebum or not, it's still going to produce. It's just a matter of whether or not it can escape due to the occlusive layers that you put on the scalp. Recent scalp microbiome research describes Malassezia as one of the major organisms shaping the scalp's microbiome community, and notes that the scalp microbiome, it degenerates, is associated with dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis, and several inflammatory scalp diseases. A newer molecular review goes even further. It describes how Malassezia is used in different enzymes to hydrolyze whole sebum and generate irritating free fatty acids and oxidized products that are capable of participating in barrier disruption and inflammation signaling. What does that mean? You know how I teach you guys about the stratum corneum, which is the top layer of skin? The more oil you use, the more you feed the Malassezia yeast, because it loves the lipids that live in the grease and in the oil. And when you feed it, what does it have to do? It has to produce waste. And that waste and the byproducts of that waste, they ends up irritating the scalp. And this is where your dandruff and your seborrheic dermatitis comes from. This is where all of that intense itching comes from. This is an established pathway. And what has not been established is the petroleum itself feeds Malassezia in the same manner that human sebum does. So excuse me, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, automatically the petroleum is going to feed the yeast. No, you create an occlusive barrier that traps everything there. And then all of the other things that I said, they layer on top of each other. I really hope you're following me. This distinction is important, but consider what happens underneath the grease. Your own sebum is still being produced. The organisms do not need petroleum to create its natural lipid source. Your scalp needs the lipids, yes, absolutely, but it produces the lipids on its own. So when you add more oil, more greases to the scalp, all you're doing is giving the scalp's microflora more food. And what is it going to do? It's going to poop out more food. So what's going to happen? The scalp is going to be irritated. And then what are you going to do? You're going to go wash it and then add more oil. And then the cycle just continues. It's kind of ridiculous. The scalp is already supplying the source. So my concern is not necessarily the petroleum is feeding the organism. No, my concern is we are placing an exclusive layer over the scalp where the lipid dependent microorganisms already have access to continuously produce human sebum. And that is a fair biological argument. I don't understand why everybody's arguing with it. If your body is already producing enough sebum for the malassezia and everything to eat and all of the systems to run, why are you putting more oils on it? And why are you putting grease on it that creates an occlusive layer? Why? Sebum does not stop because you grease your scalp. Your sebaceous glands do not detect petroleum sitting above them and just completely shut down. It doesn't work like that. They continue secreting. That means that under the heavy layer, you may have external grease, natural sebum, sweat, microorganisms, shed keratin, styling product residue, and environmental material. And if the scalp is not cleansed for days because someone is preserving a hairstyle, all of those factors have more time to interact. And that is why my thesis is about accumulation and environment, not one ingredient acting alone. This isn't that issue. It isn't an issue surrounding grease, like, oh my God, grease is just so bad. Oh my God, devil grease. Oh, no, it's that people need to learn when and how to use certain products. People need to learn how to use certain products. People need to learn that everything doesn't call for argument. And people also need to learn that everybody that picks up a camera and turns it on doesn't need to be listened to. It's nothing wrong with y'all requiring the people that y'all listening to back what they say by science and not just, oh, I looked this up and it produces this. No, I want them to tell you what is going to happen. What is going to happen over time? What happens to the sebaceous gland? What happens to the layer of the scalp? What happens to the stratum corneum of the skin? Why can't my body produce these things normally? Anytime somebody tell you to put something on your scalp, the first question you ask them is, why do I need this? Why can't my body produce this naturally? That's what I need to know. And if y'all not asking that question before y'all do something, y'all all following blindly, and whatever happens to you happens to you. What we talking about? You're not going in the grocery store to buy a bunch of shit and your refrigerator is full. If your refrigerator is full, what you going to the grocery store for? If your refrigerator is so full that you can barely pull anything out of it, are you going grocery shopping and dropping $300? Hell no. So why are you constantly dropping $300? Why are you constantly dropping all of this money on greases and oils and butters? When your refrigerator full, sis, somebody put my refrigerator is full in the chat. Make it make sense. Your refrigerator is full. Why are you going grocery shopping and spending your whole check? Make it make sense. If your refrigerator is full, why are you constantly running out to fill it up? And then complaining about the fact that you wasting money. And then complaining about the fact that under your sink is full of shit that you don't even need. These are questions that everybody needs to ask themselves. And these are the uncomfortable conversations that most don't want to ask. These are the conversations that make people pissed off. These are the conversations. I don't like her. I don't care. I don't care how you feel. I don't care. If your refrigerator is full, my guy, why are you going out and spending all of your money? It don't make sense. If your sebaceous gland is already producing oil, why are you going out and greasing your scalp? That is so stupid. Feel how you feel about what I gotta say. If you've agreed with me that your refrigerator is already full, then baby, if you putting grease on your scalp, your refrigerator is already full. Your sebaceous gland is already full of oil, and the reason that your scalp is dry is because you won't let it out. That's it. That's it. Regardless of how anybody feel about what I gotta, oh, she's so intense. No, I'm not. You're just soft, and I need you to harden up. Hmm? Because your refrigerator is already full, yet and still you still let all of these people go out and tell you that you're not enough, so you need something in a bottle to grease your scalp with. Products are tools. Somebody was like, oh, but you sell oil on your website. Because I sell it as a tool. I sell a detangling oil. I use oil as a tool, and then it's shampooed out. You know why? Because my refrigerator is already full. If my refrigerator is already full, what am I going and putting more grease and more oil on my scalp for? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I don't like that. The intensity of my voice comes because I don't like people playing in other people's face. Y'all playing, letting people play in y'all face. I don't like people playing in your face, and I don't like you letting them. Your refrigerator is already full. The issue isn't that grease creates microflora. I want that distinction very clear from the beginning. The scalp's microflora was already present. The question is whether consistently coating the scalp changes the ecological condition in which that flora lives. That's the question. Skin research tells us that microorganisms are heavily influenced by temperature, humidity, pH, lipid availability, water availability, barrier function, and host immunity. How does greasing and oiling your scalp contribute to any of those things? How does it increase any of those things? It creates what type of layer? Occlusive. It creates occlusion. So my question is, do any of these microorganisms, or is the temperature, the humidity, the pH level, the lipid availability, the water availability, the barrier function, and the host human immunity, is oiling or greasing the scalp gonna help any of that? It's not a rhetorical question. I need at least one person to answer me. Is that gonna help with anything? Please answer a player. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It makes literally no sense. We almost done. Kind of, sort of. Almost done. Oh my goodness. Need water, guys. Grease can influence several aspects of the surface environment through occlusion. Sebum provides lipid saturate. It provides all of the lipids, everything that it needs. All of the scalp's microflora, all of the bacteria on your scalp is supposed to be there. And its food comes out of your scalp. And you having proper hygiene and shampooing your hair on a regular basis makes it so that it never becomes overpopulated, so you don't get scalp and follicle infections. Heat can also raise the local temperature. So if somebody's telling you to put leave-in conditioner, then grease, then blow dry your hair, girl, listen, you're going to end up looking exactly like them. And that's all I'm going to say. Sweating adds moisture. And heat, again, can raise the local temperature. And what happens, like right now, I don't give a damn what grease it is around your house. Any grease, any oil you got, go put it in your pan and then turn it on. And I bet you it'll start sizzling the same way your chicken grease would. So why would you combine that type of oil that you know is going to sizzle? Why would you add that to your hair before you flat iron it? Or before you blow dry it, before you add heat? Does that make sense? Because all oils have a heating point. So you're increasing the temperature of whatever hot tool you're using by putting oil on the scalp. These are facts. This doesn't even have anything to do with hair. This is normal science. My children are learning that. My children are both in the 9th grade. My children are learning that. Actually, they learned that shit last year. Delayed cleansing leaves additional material in place. That combination is far more interesting scientifically than simply asking whether or not petroleum itself is toxic. We're not talking about petroleum being toxic. As a scientist, I know that petroleum isn't toxic, but just because it's not toxic doesn't mean it goes on your scalp. Onion juice not toxic. You gonna put it in an eyedropper bottle and put it in your eyes? Huh? I didn't think so. But onions are great for vision. But are you going to take some onions, put them in a blender, and then drop them in your eyes to make your eyes better? I didn't think so. So now when we add heat, right, to the scenario with the oils and the greases and the all of the things, right? Then people take this coated system and introduce a blow dryer or a hot comb or a flat iron, sometimes all three at the same time. And now we have a problem because we have occlusion plus sebum plus microfloral activity plus sweat plus buildup plus elevated temperature plus hair fiber stress all together at the same damn time. And you said, "Oh, but my hair feels good. It feels good. Oh, it feels good, Tiny. Oh my God. Girl, that dusty nigga that you was talking to before, it felt good with him too, didn't it? It was an occlusive layer, huh? That all of that little woo woo you let him put on you, he made you feel good, girl. That was an occlusive layer, just like the grease that you putting on your scalp. You got an occlusive layer on your brain to keep messing with that dusty dude or that dusty female. If you a dude watching me, because it's some dudes that watch me too, and y'all be messing with some ashy females. Y'all be messing with some ashy niggas, huh? It was them. You want to blame them? No, it was you. Because now we got occlusion, sebum, microflora activity, sweat, buildup, elevated temperature, and hair fiber stress. And guess what you did? You coated it all in grease, baby. Yeah. All in grease. That is the environment I am concerned about, though. All jokes aside, we already know high heat can damage the human hair. We already know temperature and humidity affect the microbiome environment. And we already know that an inflamed or barrier compromised scalp can respond differently than healthy skin from healthy skin. So even if the single step seems harmless by itself, the combined routine may create a very different biological outcome. I don't just call myself a witty name and I don't just call myself nothing because I got degrees and certifications to back it up. But as a holistic research scientist, the word holistic means that I look at all pieces of the puzzle. Y'all not looking at nothing. All y'all looking at is my scalp was itchy. I agree. It felt better. It's a strawberry. It's a strawberry. That's what's wrong with y'all. No, I need y'all to look at every piece of your life holistically. Because if you see a female or somebody that you don't like that got an attitude problem, it's not just, oh, she got an attitude problem. Her holistic life leads to how she feels right now. Her diet, her sleep pattern, the people that she's around, her relationship with her man, her relationship with her woman, her wife, her husband, all of the things. All of these things holistically go into that woman and how you see her. But y'all don't look at stuff like that. Y'all look at it, oh, this person's mad, this person's upset, and then make a judgment where in life we need to move holistically. As a holistic research scientist, I'm not just looking at, oh, it's a strawberry. My hair felt good after I used the oil. It's bullshit. It doesn't make sense. You need to look at the full holistic practice. Look at everything. Look at all of the pieces together and where they fit. But y'all don't do that. And that's why almost 70% of Black women are walking around bald head as hell. And even if they telling you they got hair, let the wind blow and you're going to see the biggest bald spot you ever seen in your life. And you know I'm not lying because I've made the videos already. And when you try to teach them the science of the human body, well, my body's different, but not me. I'm a strawberry. And then whenever y'all go bald, then the next thing you want to say, oh, all these product lines are bad. They're all trying to hurt us. They're all trying to kill us. They hate Black women. Girl, shut your face. No, they don't. Y'all just don't listen, and y'all think y'all know everything. And that's the problem. You need to have your mind open enough to understand things that you don't know. That's why I started things off like this. As a holistic research scientist, girl, I could be wrong. I don't give a damn. And if you disagree with me, disagree, but do it with facts. Don't come in my comments talking about nothing that your grandma did. I don't care nothing about what your grandma did, what your auntie Ethel or what your cousin with the clip foot did. I don't care. I don't care. Bring me some scientific data that we can repeat over and over and over and over again. You know why Minoxidil is at the top? Minoxidil is at the top because it don't matter how many years go by. When you use that product, you're going to get the same result every time. That's why you can stand by it. That's why scientists and dermatologists stand behind things like Minoxidil 10 toes down, because it don't matter who you are. That shit gonna work. This is what gonna happen when you stop using it. But if your main objective is hair growth, oh baby, it's gonna work. The people I worry about most are the ones who already have dry scalp, because I frequently find that what people call dry scalp is not necessarily simply dryness. They may actually have dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis, buildup, irritant dermatitis, folliculitis, allergic contact dermatitis, or another inflammatory condition altogether. Then they are told your scalp is dry, add oil or grease it, and then it itches again. So then they add more. And that can turn out into a self-reinforcing cycle of itch, assume dryness, apply oil or grease, reduce immediate friction or tightness sensation, like so your hair is no longer dry. Oh my god, there's no longer friction. It feels so good. It's a sensation. It's a strawberry. Then you delay the cleansing because you don't want to escape the feeling. Sebum and products accumulate. Scalp becomes uncomfortable again. So you apply more product. And this is one of those patterns that I am trying to challenge, because it's a repetitive cycle over and over again. This is where y'all all constantly find yourselves. Oh, my problem. Oh, my hair is just because my hair is dry. So you put this layer on, and then you're constantly in this cycle over and over again. And then you want to constantly preach to people and argue with people and say, oh, well, my hair is only dry because I need oil and stuff like that. If your hair is dry, if your hair cannot function without a product, the product didn't work. Do you hear me? It's the same thing for Minoxidil. That's why Minoxidil isn't a one stop. I tell my patients they can use Minoxidil, but they still have to change their holistic practices, because Minoxidil is the end result and the manifestation of the patterns that you had before. So you have to go back and change those patterns that you had before. And then that manifestation, which is the balding, the itching, the inflammation, all of those things will change. But those are the things that we refuse to admit, because for whatever reason, accountability and saying I'm wrong, I didn't know, is a problem. And in my opinion, that is one of the biggest problems. My clinical observation is different. What I repeatedly observe is that when people stop creating and adding external grease or oil to the scalp begins to function differently. And they cleanse properly, they stop repeatedly coating the surface, they give the scalp time, and their own sebum becomes more apparent. That sebum begins coating the scalp and the hair naturally. This is something that you're not thinking about. This is something and things that people completely skip over. People who previously told me my scalp doesn't make oil or my hair is naturally bone dry begin showing me that their hair is visibly shinier and better lubricated without consistent grease or oil application. That observation is central to my work, 100%. I would describe it as clinical observation, not yet a universal philosophical law. So I'm not trying to tell you what to do. We still need control research comparing scalp sebum distribution before and after discontinuing heavy grease, water absorption for repeated coated versus uncoated textured hair. Microbiome changes after chronic scalp occlusions and scalp pH TEWL follicular rescue and residue and inflammatory markers. We need to research all of those things more. But if I'm honest with you, most of the time scientists have tried to enter the conversation. This happens so many times where dermatologists come online, and another day I'll do a video showing you all of those things so you won't think that I'm making it up. But there's so many times where dermatologists have came out and said, don't oil the scalp, don't grease the scalp, don't do this. And then black women attack those people and say, you don't know what you're talking about because I'm black and I got to do this because I'm black. So they say, well, fuck y'all. Well, y'all black asses just do it on your own. I'm over it. And then black people are left by themselves, and they're not going to keep arguing and going back and forth with you about things that they've spent decades in school learning. Those studies tell us exactly what is happening, but we rather listen to people online on social media than anybody else. As a cosmetologist, I did not have this information. So if a cosmetologist is the one telling you indefinitely, this is what you got to do and this is the result, they're lying to you. They do not know that. Studies do not show that. And the science goes completely against putting an occlusive layer on the scalp. The science that we as human beings have on this planet go completely against putting an occlusive layer on the scalp. All of the science goes away from that. However, black people will not let it go for no reason, and nobody knows why. So we already know human sebum naturally supports lipid-dependent microorganisms. We already know that. Hold on, y'all. What's up? Occluded, warm, and humid skin environments can support different microfloral and microbial conditions that expose dry sites. Scalp microbiome, this is always associated with inflammatory scalp disorders, and malassezia can metabolize human sebum and generate inflammatory metabolites in subtle skin. And this is something that you have to understand. When you add oil to your, in short, when you add oils and greases and butters to your scalp, especially grease and oil, what that does, all of the microflora on your scalp, specifically malassezia yeast, eats it and doodles it out. And that's what's giving you the dandruff and the itching and all of the things. Those facts make this a legitimate biological hypothesis. And I think we have confused sealed with healthy. And I think that is the portion in which everybody is constantly getting confused, because this may be the simplest way to explain my position. Grease can seal, grease can lubricate, grease can shine, grease can make hair feel amazing and soft. Those are real life properties, but none of them automatically means that the hair is functioning better biologically. And on the scalp, sometimes what we are trying so hard to seal in is sitting beside sweat, sebum, microbiome that is already metabolizing dead skin cells and product residue. Occlusion is not automatically beneficial simply because it reduces water loss. And that sounds like a positive thing, but the context matters. All anybody thinks about when you talk about grease, it retains moisture. There are so many other things that you need to be focused on. So many other things. Because your own sebum matters. Sebum has become strangely demonetized and ignored all at the same time, all at one time. We shampoo it away. Then we immediately replace it with manufactured oils. Then we complain that the scalp feels dry, and then we add more oil. I think we need to reconsider that cycle. Your scalp has a sebaceous gland for a reason. That natural secretion, it participates in the surface ecosystem of the skin. It interacts with the microbes. It's not disrupting them or causing them to overpopulate, and it helps lubricate the hair and the skin. It contributes to the acid mantle and the lipid environment of the scalp. And that does not mean excessive sebum is always desirable. Too much sebum can participate in certain scalp disorders, but the solution should not be automatically replacing the scalp's natural lipid system with a repeated heavy external coating like grease. So, what would I rather see? I want to see hair care that supports normal biology, appropriate cleansing, water exposure, conditioning where needed, minimum unnecessary scalp coating, reduced buildup, controlled heat, healthy scalp turnover, recognition of inflammation when it appears, and enough time for us to observe what the scalp actually does without consistently covering it. Do you even know what will happen to your scalp after 2 to 3 months of you not putting anything on it? Most of you have no idea, because the scalp is not passive, it is a living tissue. So, what is my thesis? My working thesis is this: repeated heavy oils or and grease application create an occlusive surface over the scalp that already produces sebum and supports a lipid dependent microbiome. That occlusive environment that occlusive environment can retain heat, humidity, and accumulated material, and may influence the ecological conditions surrounding the scalp's microbiome. Meanwhile, heavy coatings on the hair shaft alter its surface properties and may modify normal water exchanges with the environment. The immediate softness produced by the coating can therefore be mistaken for improved hair health, but it's just a surface level feeling. When external oils and grease are discontinued in the appropriate candidates, normal cleansing and restored, and inflammation is addressed, I frequently observe natural sebum becoming sufficient to lubricate the scalp, and predominantly is the main source for the hair. The hair without consistent product layering is magnificent. And that is the clinical phenomenon that I believe deserves formal investigation. So the bottom line is, I'm not saying, oh, never use petroleum in any way, shape, or form. And I am not saying that every person should follow the exact same scalp routine. I am saying that something much more specific is happening. We need to stop judging hair care based on what other people are saying on social media. We need to stop that. We need to stop judging a hair care method solely by whether or not the hair feels soft immediately afterwards. A greasy coating can make hair softer, absolutely. That does not tell us what the scalp is doing. It does not tell us whether or not the microbiome balance has been improved in any way, shape, or form. And it definitely does not tell us whether or not inflammation has decreased. It does not tell us whether or not the fiber regained its structural integrity at all, but we know that it doesn't, because it doesn't work like that. And it definitely does not tell us what will happen after months or years of repeating this process. I want us to begin looking at the scalp for what it is. It's a living, water responsive, sebum producing, microbial active ecosystem. That's what your scalp is. And I want us to consider the possibility that constantly and consistently covering that ecosystem may not be necessary for everyone. Sometimes the goal should not be, what else can I put on my scalp? some more strawberries. Sometimes the more important question is what happens when I stop interfering with it and support the biology that's already there? That is the question guiding all of my work. So I really, really hope that it makes sense. Make sure you check the disclaimers on my website and all of the things, because this section is just describing, different things that may happen, that the body may respond to, but I'm in no way, shape, or form saying, oh, you gotta listen to me, I know everything. Like, that's not what I'm saying. So let me know in the chat if whether or not this made sense. I'm gonna take a couple questions and then we're gonna head off, because I'm not here to balance, oh, you're right and I'm wrong and you're stupid and I'm smart, and I don't care. I don't care. That's one of the main reasons why I don't come on YouTube as much as I did in the past, because I'm not interested in arguing and going back and forth with y'all. It's not fun. It's not interesting to me. It doesn't get us anywhere. And Black women have been arguing about hair for the longest time, and y'all still going through the same shit y'all was going through before the team natural community came into play. So my question is, when are you going to stop? Because the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. What do you think is going to change? I'm going to get to some of y'all comments. I know I'm back far, but I didn't see them. See, whenever I try to talk to educate people, oh yeah, I read that already. Yep, that's why. And like, to be honest, that's the main thing that I get from most people online. That's why I'm not interested in talking to none of y'all. Not y'all. I mean the other people. I'm just not interested. Because for what? Like, I'm not. You blinded me with science. Hey, Sin, when will the Shea Bay in the South be back in stock? The end of the month, which is now. So like the second and the second and the fifth. So by the fifth, on the 5th of next month, everything will be back in stock. And everybody who's placed orders, you should be expecting an email from me like probably by tomorrow. Yeah. Thanks you for asking the question. Auntie want to know what products, why she can use it for her skip. They missed her scalp up. She wants to get a product for her scalp so her hair follicles can start back growing. The problem is, y'all, nothing goes on the scalp but shampoo. Nothing goes on the scalp but shampoo unless you're trying to treat an infection. So unless you have some type of infection that a dermatologist has seen under a microscope and they see what it is and they're killing that scalp microflora, they're killing that exact overgrowth, there's no reason for you to put anything on your scalp other than shampoo. And I don't support anything outside of that. Obviously, like, or if you have a holistic trichologist that tells you not about an oil but about some type of glycerite that you can put on the scalp, like a herbal glycerite with all of the key constituents of specific herbs, not just anyone, then yeah. But putting tea directly on the scalp, absolutely not. There's nothing that I don't show don't. I've been following Sendal's method for 2 years. I appreciate you. How is it working so far for you, Madam Sendal, the female judge of her people? No, don't say that. My hair has thickened up a lot since doing away with greasing my scalp. A friend that hasn't seen me in years said, "You look younger. How did you do that?" Send out and Miss Clara. Listen, let me tell you something, baby. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Most of these women walk around, they got all of this acne or all of these bumps on their face. That's because you a grease ball, huh? That's because you a grease ball. That's why you greasing your scalp, and then all of that grease, it gets on your pillow, it get on your face, and now your skin breaking out. You got all them goddamn bumps on your forehead. I bet you if you stop greasing and oiling your scalp, your skin will clear up. I'm telling you what I know. Baby. I'm telling you what I know. Please answer a player. Oh no, what did you say? Did I skip over your comment? Can you ask it again? I'm sorry. I brushed my hair with a board bristle brush last night. your scalp felt nice, baby. I know it did. Our ancestors have been brushing their hair with boar bristle brushes before our mamas and our grandmas and our great grandmas were thought of. I can promise you that. I don't understand curling and pressing wax. Me neither, and I've never used it. I hate to see it, but yeah. Hey, you win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day. I don't know. Shit, I don't know. A player like me don't know. I don't know. Ma'am, you convicted me to put down my T3 blow dryer brush and pick up. Yeah, baby, with a concentrator. Yeah, what we doing? What we doing all this bullshit? Why we doing all this stuff out here? Look at all of these people like, oh, use this. Look at my link in the description box below. Oh, look at this. Girl, bye. They making those videos to give you money. Do y'all understand that I lose money by telling y'all not to put stuff on y'all scalp? Do y'all know how many people offer me money to tell them to put this on their scalp? Here's this grease. Here's this oil. Here's this butter. And sometimes it make me feel like, you know what? They don't appreciate me no way. Maybe I will. And just take the damn money like everybody else. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do it because I'm too blessed. And every door that I knock on opens before I even know that it's something that I need to knock on. So I'm not going to block my own blessings. I'm just not. My mama always told me if I'm itching, it's time to take a shower. Just saying. That's what I'm saying. Who is that? D.L. Hughley, his stand-up, one of my favorite stand-ups, he was like, his son was like, Daddy, my booty itch. And he was like, it's probably because it's chock full of shit, son. Go wash your ass. It's the same thing. And black women walking around, it's a strawberry. My scalp, it itches. I don't know what it itches. Give me more oil. Do you put more oil on your ass when it itches or do you go get in the shower? These are things that I want us to think about. My auntie got a little bald spot on her crown. She wants to know what she can use to grow her hair back. I don't know. I need to know what were you doing before? What were you doing before your hair got bald? Were you oiling and greasing the scalp? Did you put oil and grease and butter and all of the things on your scalp? Was you putting rice water on? What were you doing? I don't know. I need to know. For us to be able to grow it back, we need to reverse what happened in the first place. So I need to know what you did to cause it in the first place. And if you use oil and grease and butter on your scalp, you know exactly what you need to do to fix it. All of my messages is not going through to you. I didn't see, huh? I think I just answered you. When I stopped putting grease and oil on my scalp, my hair stopped itching between wash days. Baby, it's easy. It's simple. Thank you for helping Black women who want healthy hair. It is my absolute pleasure. It brings me so much joy. Oh no, poor Sebum. Yes, it did make sense. Thank you very much. You're so welcome. Okay, come on, common sense. Go wash that ass. Go wash that ass. God damn. But if I went through everybody's questions, I don't think I see any more. So we're going to head out and I'm going to go and I have to screen record our conversation for Revlon because I'm sure all of you don't want to hear me talk about Revlon. So I won't do Revlon live, but I will, like I said, when I get done with this, I'm going to do a full post on the history of Revlon because Revlon, thus far, I've given you three that I like. We talked about BioSilk, we talked about Chi, we talked about Hot Tools. Oh my God, what's the other one? Baby Bliss, and we talked about Conair. So we went over all of those, right? But today I want to do Revlon because a lot of y'all have been asking me about Revlon. However, I don't have the same positive things to say about Revlon. That I don't have as much positivity to surround a Revlon as I do with everybody else, and it'll actually be really quick. I could do it right now. Give me a 5 in the chat if y'all want to stay around and see me go over Revlon and its history and how I feel about it. Let a player know, buddy. Greasing the scalp came from the plantation. We were denied the human dignity of proper regular washing, so we had to protect the scalp from critters, etc. Da, 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 da. I agree with you, but then I don't, because greasing the scalp doesn't protect the scalp from critters; it attracts them. And I can prove it to you. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. If I put on Vaseline over my whole body and I walk outside, I'm going to be covered in dirt. We call Vegas the Dust Bowl because there's nothing but dirt and dust floating around. So grease and oil attracts dirt. It doesn't repel it. The reason that our ancestors were greasing their scalp is because they were picking cotton in the sun all day, and it was an occlusive layer that they protected their scalp with. And our grandmothers were greasing their scalps for the same reason, because they passed it down generationally. But I want you to notice the difference between modern black women and our grandmothers that were greasing our scalps. A lot of our grandmothers used a shampoo that a lot of y'all, I don't recommend anybody uses now, but they used it back then and it made sense back then. They greased their scalp and they shampooed on a regular basis. And what did they use? VO5. And shampooing your hair with VO5, baby, is like shampooing your hair with some Ajax dishwashing liquid. It's going to strip everything off the scalp, especially that grease that you're putting on the scalp. But for a living, I work side by side with dermatologists who treat all of the black women who followed in the footsteps of greasing the scalp on a regular basis. When they stop greasing the scalp, all of their hair grows back. It's a fact. Some people don't want to hear it, but that's what it is. And yes, our ancestors greased their scalp, but it wasn't because oh, we're denied human dignity. That didn't have anything to do with it. If we were denied something, then we wouldn't have the extra things to grease our scalp with, because they wouldn't have been giving us extra. We wouldn't have had enough. So we use the petroleum, or not the petroleum, but they use like the extra grease from the pig fat or whatever food that they were cooking, whatever the extra grease and oil, they use that to protect their scalp, and they use that to protect their skin from the sun, because they were in it picking cotton. That's why. And not just cotton, many things. There were sugarcane farms, all types of things, right? In the Caribbeans, they had slaves. Hell yeah, they putting grease and occlusive things on the scalp. Why? You need something occlusive if you're in the sun being treated like shit. Yeah. But are we like that now? Are we experiencing that now in 2026? Are we experiencing that? We're not experiencing slavery right now in 2026. Why are we bringing that up? They fought so we can learn more. If they were keeping us away from stuff, you know what else they were keeping us away from? Proper education. We didn't have proper education to understand what putting constant occlusive layers on the scalp would do. So we can't constantly bring up what our ancestors didn't have and not acknowledge the fact that they also didn't have the proper education to know what happens when you constantly grease the scalp. How can you admit that we didn't have anything, including proper education? We couldn't read. We weren't allowed to do all of these things and get an education. Yet and still, we still understood the biology and the chemistry of the human body and the scalp. No, we didn't. So why are we still following the same tactics and patterns and routines that were put in when we didn't know better? When we know that we didn't know better? When we know that we weren't allowed to learn more? So now that our ancestors, they fought their ass off to make sure that we would be in position to learn these things so we wouldn't be walking around in the dark. Now we still choose to walk in the same shoes and down the same path that they were walking in when they didn't have the ability to learn more. Does that make sense to y'all? Does that make sense? Now you have everything that they fought for. Now you are your ancestors' dream, but you still gonna move the way that they had to move, the way that they were forced to move in their reality. Does that make sense to y'all? That's where my passion comes from, because we just say things. We just throw those things out there. I love you. I'm not attacking you. I just want y'all to think, man. I just want us to think. That's it. We about to head off of here real quick. Is Olivia Gardner bad? What do you mean? The brushes? No. I think I have some of those in my Amazon store. Your knowledge just changed my whole life. Now I need to keep up with all of those. Yeah, just I just want us to be easier on ourselves. Stop making everything a race thing, right? Why is it that every time as a black woman we decide to do something great for ourselves, it gotta be, oh, because they used to do this to us and we used to. I'm not living in the pain of my ancestors. And I know for a fact that they wouldn't want us to live in their pain. So why do we constantly live and exist and make our decisions based on the pain that they had to live through, instead of taking advantage of the progression the way that they would have wanted us to? Does that make sense? Do you think that our ancestors would have still wanted? Do you really think that our ancestors that were scientific, that were sneaking to read books, sneaking to find more knowledge, do you think they would still want y'all following in the same pathways that they was in? Make it make sense. Like, these are the things that I really want us to think about. Those are the things that I want y'all to do. I want y'all to stop being blind sheep. We are not in slavery anymore. We are free now, and you are free to move on your own. You are free to think by yourself. When a person makes a YouTube video, they're leaving breadcrumbs, and you're supposed to follow those crumbs and go find the rest of the information for yourself. Nothing that anybody says is supposed to be absolute. As a scientist, you following something and calling it absolute without you doing any research irritates my socks. That's the shit that pisses me off. It irritates my soul. Y'all greasing the oil in the scalp and Team Natural, that doesn't make me angry. You following somebody blindly without asking questions is what pisses me off. That's what irritates me. And it should irritate you. Stop looking at videos and because somebody says something, oh, I'm going to follow them. Stop doing that. Don't follow nothing that I say. I spend the time making these articles and having all of these PDFs and having these infographics for y'all so that you can, when we get done, I don't want y'all, oh, hell yeah, Sia was talking that good shit. No. I don't want to be nobody's God. I don't want to be nobody's leader, and I don't want followers. I do not want followers. That's why I love YouTube, because YouTube doesn't call you a subscriber. YouTubers are called subscribers, not followers. I don't need you to follow me. Subscribe to my channel so you can see the information that I'm putting out there, so you can go and do the research for yourself. That's what my channel is about. As a research scientist, I don't need you to believe that I'm right, because if I said it already, I've already proven it. And it's nothing that you or anybody else can say to me that is going to make me say or think any differently than I feel right now. That's why I've been talking the same good shit for the last 10 years. And it's never going to change until somebody else comes and shows me something else to negate the things that I put forth. That's what we going with. And thus far, name the one person that y'all watch that has negated anything that I said, and name the one thing that I said that was going to come to pass that hasn't. I will wait. And in me saying this, with all of y'all favorite people that watch my stuff, you won't find one person that'll be able to negate what I've said, because everything that I told y'all that was going to happen to Team Natural has happened. All of y'all favorite scalp greasers, everybody is cutting their hair off, and none of them are being accountable. They're blaming it on their diets. I just had a baby, my hormones, all of this is bullshit, because none of these women are over 40. None of them. But they all going bald like they going through menopause. Why? Huh? Why? Ask why. And do the research yourself. You don't got to ask them why. Your favorite YouTubers that I got a big ass bald spot in her head, you don't got to go ask her nothing. Go do your own research and go back to her old videos from years and years and years and years ago. Your favorite scalp greaser, baby. Go back to her videos from years ago, and I guarantee you she putting oils, butters, and greases on her scalp. I guarantee you she using coconut oil. I guarantee you she using rice water. All of the shit that I tell y'all not to do, that's what your favorite scalp greaser is doing. Huh? People can feel however they want to feel about me. Clock me first. That's what I need you to do. Because when women stop greasing and oiling their scalp, they have so much sebum coming down. They're like, Stan, I don't even know if I should have listened to your ass. My skin is so oily. I thought I had a dry scalp. I actually have an overactive sebaceous gland. I'm telling you what I know. And if you want to keep following what they think, what they believe, then you can go ahead and do that. Have fun, baby. That don't mean nothing to me. It makes clear sense. Thank you. I'm here for the people who can think for themselves. You're mean. You're rude to people. I'm rude to people who won't think on their own. Because you are magnificent. You are so free that you choose chains, and it pisses me off. You can do anything you want, but you walking around here with matted and tangled hair. I'm gonna finger detangle. It's a strawberry. And you finger detangling for 4 hours when you can pick up a damn comb and be done with your hair in 15 minutes. That's why I'm irritated. That's why I sound like this. And if you don't like it, do something different. Just go try it. Trust and see that the Lord is good. Like, just try it. What are we talking about? Why do we have to do this? Our ancestors, like Annie Turnbull, were more ahead than us today. 1,000%. If Annie Turnbull could be alive and walking around right now and she could hear the stupid stuff that y'all say online, she would be pissed off. She literally did all of that shit for nothing. That woman opened this big, she had this big, huge university. It was like Harvard for black hair. Oh my God. The top floor was a whole garden. A whole garden. And she knew they had a whole chemistry floor where she taught them how to extract the key constituents of the herbs and use them in the hair products. What are we talking about? What, like, come on. Our ancestors would be pissed. Now we like, it's a strawberry. Take some strawberries and some rice and some licorice and 4 unicorn poops and then get an ant and pitch the ant's booty so it pees a little. You probably didn't know ants could pee, did you? But they can. And you pitch their booties and then they pee. And you put that on your scalp. Your hair will grow like crazy. And then y'all all go follow it. I know one thing about hair grease. It fights off lice. Everyone in the classroom had lice except for the one who routinely used grease. If hair isn't greased, oh my God. Like, you just made me take my glasses off. First of all, actually, I'm not even about to have this conversation. I'm not about to do it. You know what? I'm not about to do it. Like, I just took my glasses off and I just felt my spurs say, Cynthia, why are you about to entertain this conversation? I just want y'all to see certain stuff. I'm sorry, sis, but I'm not addressing this comment. It's really, I want you to go do some research on your own and see if this shit makes sense to you. And lice is just one of the over 987 different forms of yeast and bacteria and microflora that lives on your scalp. So, okay, let's say you're right, which you're not. You're not right. But let's say that you are. Lice is just one of over 900 different forms of microflora that lives on the scalp. So, you keep grease away, right? You keep grease away, but you feed over 900 other forms of microflora that lives on your scalp at the same time. So does that make sense? Anybody in the chat, give me a 1. Would you want to do that to prevent lice from coming? To prevent lice. You go ahead and add that grease and lice not going to be there, but you're going to feed all of the other forms of microflora. Stop. Because the only way a black person is getting lice is if they have a unhealthy regimen, like if their scalp is really, really full of yeast and bacteria and they're around somebody else that has grease. It is a fact that once you shampoo your hair as a black person, the lice, it doesn't like to hold on to the coils. It grips with its actual fingers. I have a whole video about lice. I have a whole video showing you the way that lice looks crawling on the hair shaft. Grease has nothing to do with it. If that were true, and I'm moving on because, like I said, it's like if that were true, then all a person with lice would have to do is add grease or oil to their hair. So why doesn't it work? Does that make sense? Y'all just say stuff. Y'all literally just let stupid stuff flow out of your mouth and then y'all repeat it. And this is how misinformation spreads online. Because just imagine how many black women think this. And who told you this? Whoever told it to you was stupid. And then you keep repeating something that a stupid person say over and over again, which makes you in return what? Okay. Girl, are we about to go? Because it's annoying. I truly vibe you. I vibe you more. Thank you. Can you guys put a bunch of vibey emojis, just a bunch of vibey emojis? Because and it's my fault. I apologize for even reading that comment. I'm not reading no more. If I skip your comment in the future, it's because I think it's something that's gonna unglue my wig and I ain't got no wig on. God damn it. The hair lice thing is a myth, girl. It's so annoying. The number one way to prevent lice is by staying away from people with lice. God damn it. Hey, shit. Hello. Sunshine. Hello. What are we talking about? Hello. God damn it, man. Oh my God. That's how I know you ain't been in here from the beginning. You just randomly popped up and was like, guess what? You know what stops lice? Hair grease. Oh my goodness. It's the grease. It stops the lice. What? Who the fuck? How many of y'all got hair lice? Give me a 2 in the chat if you've had hair lice before, and give me a 1 in the chat if you've never had it. A 2 in the chat if you've had hair lice, or if you know a black person who's had hair lice, and give me a 1 if you haven't. Y'all are so annoying. My God, can you imagine the people that purposely don't wash their hair in long stretches? Yeah, but a lot of black people think that that's how you make your hair grow. Most black people think that the dirtier your hair is, the better it grows. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing, guys. If you just because you went to school with black people who had lice doesn't mean they put. Oh my God, like. If you went to school with black people who always had lice, you went to school with a bunch of dirty ass black people. That's what it is. You went to school with a bunch of black people who didn't have proper hygiene. Do y'all really think that microscopic organisms care about the color of your skin? Oh no, they some niggas. We ain't going over there. Oh no, they got grease. We ain't going over there. That doesn't make sense. No. Lice can still crawl on a hair shaft that has grease on it. Who told you that? Who told you that? Who told you that? You went to school with non-blacks. What school was it? What is your scientific backing? Stop coming. If y'all from now on, do not come in my comments and make no statements like that unless you got some scientific data to back it. Like, I'm about to block you. I can't read. My nigga, I just read a full. I've been reading for the last 2 hours. I can't read. I'm blocking you. Actually, I'm gonna put you in timeout, and if you come back, I'm blocking you. Cause I'm like just lunchbox. Y'all be on lunchbox. Where she at? Oh, she at lunch. She is at lunch. Y'all be at lunch, and go talk to. This is not your place. When I unmute you, if you say anything else, I'm gonna block you, and so I won't have to deal with you, and you won't have to deal with me. You can go over to the Grease family and everything. If you looking at, if just go ahead, go and get. Okay. Amen. Praise God. I don't. Yeah. So we see a bunch of ones. What are we? I don't want to. Anyway. What are we talking about? So I don't remember. Oh man, did I tell y'all to vote? If y'all want to do Revline now, then say Revline in the chat. If I don't see no Revlines in the chat, then I'm about to exit off of here so I can finish Revline so I can be done for the day. And then you guys will get a full video tomorrow. Multiple videos tomorrow will be coming. Oh my God. So I'm going to give y'all a second. I'm actually going to get some water. And if I see more than 3 Revlines in the chat, then we'll go ahead and do it. But I just need y'all to bear with a player. Okay. Okay, give me a second. I just need to get my PDFs downloaded because I didn't plan on doing it right now. So give me a second, right? Do y'all want to hear like a little funny song while y'all waiting for me to download these files real quick? It's only gonna take a second. Let me know in the chat. God damn it. Here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna play this song real quick, and then we'll go. And then as I'm downloading these files, so I can put them on the screen for y'all, and I'll be right back. It literally won't take me no time. So, do y'all want the a lot of y'all haven't heard the co-wash your ass part, the co-wash your ass song. Y'all want to hear the co-wash your ass song, or do y'all just want to hear like a chill song? Because I have kind of been yelling. Which one? Say chill or funny. Chill or funny. Hurry up so I can do this. Chill or funny. Which one? Somebody, come on. Anybody, buddy. The first person who say it, that's the decision we making. A chill song or a funny song? Co-wash. Okay, there we go.
Don't co-wash your hair. If you don't co-wash your ass, don't co-wash your hair. You wouldn't skip soap, so why you out here not caring? That co-wash life, it ain't made for the grind. Now your scalp smelling like it's bath time. So let's be fair. Do you co-wash your ass? Then don't co-wash your hair. Then don't co-wash your hair. Midweek refresh, okay, that's cute. But girl, not when your scalp on mute. Sweat, oils, dirt, that's build up boo. Now you wonder why your curls won't do. Co-wash ain't cleanse, it's a little assist. Not for 3 weeks of product mist. If you'd never rinse your body like that, why do your hair like a laundromat? If you don't co-wash your ass, don't co-wash your hair. You wouldn't skip soap, so why you out here not caring? That co-wash light, it ain't made for the grind. Now your scalp smelling like it's bath time. So let's be fair. Do you co-wash your ass? Then don't co-wash Wash day sacred, shampoo first, then co-wash after, that's how it works. Moisture in, but clean comes first, or you end up with your curls looking cursed. I hate a co-wash, don't get me wrong, but skipping real wash, that's dead wrong. Cleansing ain't extra, it's hair care 101. So don't be a buffet when the wash can be done. So don't be a buffet when the wash can be done.
Yeah, smooth jazz. We in there. Yeah. give me a 2 in the chat if you like that song, you know. Let's be fair. If you don't co-wash your ass, then don't co-wash your hair. Okay? Yeah. Let's give me some snaps in here. Baby, yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. I'm sorry. Y'all requested it. Y'all said it was okay. So if it wasn't okay, it's not my fault, but the fault of the person who did it. Okay, who made this request. So when I actually edit the video, the graphics will look better, but I don't really have the time to redo them. So we're just going to go over it a little bit right now. So Revlon, I don't have anything per se negative to say about it. Is Revlon a brand that I would refer people to? Am I like, oh my God, go get some Revlon. It's so cool. They have strawberries. No, not per se. I'm not one of those people who have a problem with men being the people who start a business because I got a man. So I don't care. And like they be smart and stuff. But this man was a chemist. Revlon was started by men, and they didn't have hair in mind whatsoever. Theirs was focused on like lipstick and nails, right? But it goes all the way back to 1932. And in 1932, it was 3 men that had one vision. And I'll list their names in the article that we'll do later on my blog. And that's how they came up with Revlon to start the beauty empire in general, right? And so in 1930, none of us were thought of. That's when their nail color ended up coming in, and that kind of changed everything for the industry itself and for them, because they were bringing something different that nobody had seen before. And 10 years later, they had did so good with nails, they was like, you know what, we know a little bit something. So then they started getting into lips, like into lipsticks and lip colors and things of that nature. And that's when it started in the 1940s. That's where their lipsticks and all of the things. And then by the 50s, this is where their iconic advertisement came from, because in the 50s, Revlon was magnificent with their marketing. And this is something that made them go global, which led them into the 1960s, where they had mastered first, came into it, of course, concerned about nails. Girl, they didn't care nothing about your hair, okay? They was concerned about nails. And again, the main guy that was running, well, not running everything, but that was doing most of the thinking and stuff, he was a chemist. None of them were hairstylists. The last ones that I gave you, like Chi and all of them, those were all started. Conair, Baby Bliss, all of those were started by people who were actually in the hair industry. These were 3 men who they were not in the hair industry or in the nail industry. They weren't nail techs, hairstylists, makeup artists, nothing. Okay. And so then here we go. By the 1960s, they had did so good with advertising. They became advertising gods, okay, the three of them. And by the 1960s, they were global. Their advertising had gotten so big and so wide, everybody wanted a piece. Everybody wanted a piece. And once you get so popular, everybody wants a piece. You are the leader. They like, oh my God, give us something else. So then here comes the 70s. And this is a new era for Black beauty where, excuse me, Revlon, they went back into makeup and they were the ones that were really getting into it like, oh, let's see if we can get into black skin and those beautiful copper tones and all of the things. That is when they got into it. And they were featuring Naomi Sims in a major advertisement. And because she was so big, you know, later on, Revlon ended up launching the Polished Ambers collection with Iman as one of the main major people that was running that beauty campaign. So when you have these beautiful Black women and then they launch a collection of bronze, it's like, oh my God, they care about us. Look at how bronze our skin looks. And then that went to a whole nother level in the 70s. And then we get to 71, and this is when they come up with Flex. Flex is a whole new little hair care line, but to be honest, Flex never went too far. People never went too crazy about it. It didn't do that great. And so then in 77, this is when they came out with what they classify as more so of a professional brand, right? So this is where the argan oil comes from, and you know, milk and honey and things of that nature. That's where those brands started to come from, and they started to try to dive a little bit deeper into hair, right? And they've been able to like scratch the surface of hair, but nobody's ever been wild and crazy about Revlon hair care the way that they were about their makeup and the nails. It is just a thing. So in the 70s and the 80s, this is when they ended up jumping on the bandwagon with hair color, because as we talked about in some of our last videos, there were so many people that were, you know, making box hair color and things of that nature. So they was like, oh, let's jump in on this. So that's when Revlon hair color, you know, they started doing all of their innovations with hair color. And that was between the 1970s and the 1980s. Y'all know how I feel about box hair color. So honestly, this is why Revlon isn't one of my favorites. I'm just doing it because so many people ask me about it, but I'm not like, oh hell, Revlon's so cool. Like, I don't feel that way at all. And so then in 85, they had a takeover, right? Where Revlon was acquired by this man that you can see here on the bottle. And once Revlon was acquired, certain things ended up coming, like, I guess he tried to take it in a new direction. So then that is where he started doing the revolution that he said he was doing with the color stay thing. I mean, color stay was cool, but I don't know. Like, even when I looked into the science of it, it's something that professional cosmetologists of all races were never like too wild about. It was like, okay, I guess, you know, but by the time the late 1990s had came around, Revlon has been out since 1930, and so they have such a powerful portfolio. So I mean, they had crew and all of the other things, so it was like whatever they do, everybody's like, okay, yeah, let's try this because it's Revlon and we've been knowing it for so long. And this part is just my opinion. I believe that the things that they did in the 70s, it ended up making it so many people were like, oh my God, Revlon's so great. Revlon's so good. I think I'm gonna like focus on this brand because, or let's try it out, because sometimes Revlon really hits. So people will go ahead and try it out. But it was like, I mean, it's cool, but Revlon was never necessarily good enough for us to like just throw everything away and like, oh, Revlon's hair care products are just number one. It never happened. So then when we're talking about the 2000s, between 2000 and 2010, you know, times were changing and they had extremely tough competition. And this is again just a theory of mine, because in my opinion, Revlon, they didn't start in the hair industry. They didn't have too many people guiding them on the right ways to go within the hair industry. So it was just like they just was throwing paint at the wall, hoping that something stuck. And then, it was like, okay, I don't really think this is great. And so then in 2022, Revlon had a really, really difficult chapter where, after 90 years, Revlon was they were finding themselves in a really tough spot because in 2022, they ended up filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy, right? And they were trying to recuperate from that. So come 2023, they have a brand new beginning, even though Revlon filed bankruptcy in 2022. Come 2023, they were like, okay, let's go ahead and start over and let's try something new. So now today they're back to their old things. Like they have all of the same products that they had since the early 1990s, the early 1900s, the mid 1900s. They have all of the same things on the market, but they're just not selling at the rate that it really is. And after nearly a century of beauty, people still respect Revlon, but to say that they're like main leaders in anything is kind of like they have some tools that are cool or whatever. They have some tools that some people may like, but just for me personally, Revlon isn't one that I necessarily write home about. There's nothing in Revlon's portfolio that is just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. You guys have to get this. To be honest, most of the products that I get irritated that people are using are from Revlon. Like the box hair color and all of the things. I don't know. It's just not a thing. Their crew products are pretty cool, and I love all of their makeup and all of their like polishes and stuff, but I don't know. It's just my personal opinion. I believe Revlon should have kind of, stayed over where they was at. They should have stayed in makeup, and I feel like they could have really dominated if they would have stuck with where they were in 1971 and like sticking with hair care and maybe getting people who were in these certain communities or getting specific cosmetologists to just head that line, then maybe things would have been different. If they would have had somebody that would have taught them like, okay, let's go on the bronze thing and let's make that bigger, like not necessarily getting into hair. I think one of their mistakes was getting into hair, but hair is such a lucrative business that most people aren't going to avoid it or not do it if they have the opportunity to. So I hope that makes sense, right? All right. So yeah, we're done today. We've been up here for 2 hours and almost 30 minutes. I don't see any more questions, so I'm pretty sure everybody's good. When I do the actual Revlon video, I may add more things. Like when I do the edits, I may add like more videos or more clips or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know. Revlon's just not that fun for me. So I love you guys. Real quick before we go, if this video was helpful for you in any way, shape, or form, do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up, like this video, hype this video, and when this live goes off, go in the comments of this video and tell me the part of this video that was the most like influential to you. What was the thing that made you feel the best, right? And that means everything to me. Everything to me. Seriously, I really want to know if this discussion meant anything to you, because if not, I've just been sitting here talking for 2 hours for nothing. Okay. All right. Yeah. Revlon hair dryers and hot tools. Yeah or no? I love hot tools. I already made a video about hot tools. I think that was one of my last ones. So I'll leave a description. I'll leave it in the description box below. I don't know. I'm just not a Revlon fan, if I can be honest. I'm just not a Revlon fan. I just don't feel like I'm just not a Revlon fan. I just don't feel like they put enough like precision into caring about it. Like they makeup and stuff, I feel like they put way more time, way more resources, way more research into their makeup and like nail stuff than they do their hair stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. Not a fan. Yes, they are all very different. I agree. I'm learning the formulation on my shampoo and conditioner really matters. They sure do. They are all water barriers. Yes, you are making sense. I don't think I want to use Revlon in my hair. I have associated them with nail polish. Oh my God, me too. Look, oh, okay. I thought I was gonna sound like that's why I keep saying it's just my opinion because I feel like if I just say it, y'all gonna be like, "Oh, see, you being biased," and I could be. That's why I'm not saying use Revlon or don't use Revlon. And I'll make a full video about it, putting a lot more effort to like. I'll show y'all a lot more stuff, just so you can see my opinion on it. But I don't know. It's just weird. Like I don't know. That's like if Olaplex opened a steak restaurant. It's like, nigga, you in bond repair. I'm not eating none of this Olaplex steak. I don't want this. That's how I feel about it. So I don't know, girl. I agree 1,000,000%. Like when somebody says Revlon, I think of makeup. I think of hair color. I don't think. I mean, not makeup. Not of hair color. I think of nails and makeup. I don't think of hair. But I mean, I'm not telling y'all what to do though. I was so ignorant for real, not reaping the consequences, my bad. But listen, no, it is okay. We all have stupid moments. I had a stupid moment too. Okay? We all have stupid moments. And that don't make you stupid, boo. That just means you ain't know. You only stupid if you sit and listen to a conversation like the one we just had for the last 2 hours and be like, it's strawberry. I'm about to grease my scalp right now. It's like, okay. Because if you go back and look at my rice water video, I made a video the same way I'm making this right now. And people were in the comments like, listening to this as I'm putting rice water in my hair. That's the type of stuff that make you stupid. Not look at them now. Not look at them now. So I really hope that makes sense or whatever, but you're good. When we know better, we do better. So we just have to we have to have the desire to know better and to go learn the things that we don't know. Like, seriously. You're welcome, babe. Can I just say, y'all are some beautiful women. Like, no homo, okay? Like, y'all are beautiful. Like, I'm pausing, like, even you, like, girl. Like, just fine for no reason. Look at that bone structure. Just who told you could be that fine just randomly on a Thursday? Who asked you to do all of that? Who? What y'all so cute for? What you being cute for? What y'all all so fine for? Science proceed. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all of the information you share. I have 2 little daughters, and it has helped me with and they're here so much. You are appreciated, and I appreciate you for being open to hear me and for, being open enough to think and do the research for yourself and be able to apply it. It means everything to me. I really appreciate you. And it makes me feel so good to know that you are like, we as mothers, we're literally raising the future. Soon we're gonna be like, I ain't hand me this goddamn remote. That's gonna be us in a minute. And because of the decisions and the choices and the conversations that we're having today, by the time our daughters and our sons are our age, they won't be having these conversations. And just imagine how many things the next generation is going to be able to produce when they not wasting their time for hours talking about if whether or not grease and oil belong on the scalp. Just imagine what we'll be able to get past. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Just being human, but acknowledging the mistake. Yes, that's it. That's it. I'm not calling anybody dumb or stupid just for not knowing. You cannot know. But if you know, you look it in the face, you've done the research and you still do the dumb thing, then that's what makes you stupid. And I don't feel bad at calling nobody stupid when they do stupid stuff. But you are absolutely right. Just being human, but acknowledge the mistake. That's it. That's all. That's how we learn. You gain wisdom from your mistakes. And that's just that on that. Same climate in the Caribbean too. No. Thank you so much. You're welcome, babe. I could say the same about you, Queen. Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. You guys are so sweet tonight. Except for that one girl that got blocked out. I mean, they got put on timeout, but you guys are amazing. Now that I see your face fully, I see you're beautiful as well. Oh, y'all talking about, y'all fine. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all better spread some holiday cheer in these comments. I love y'all so much. Make sure that you are doing your due diligence to make sure that you're moving to new levels by yourself without anybody telling you anything. And real quick, as we're leaving, but I need this from everybody in the comments. I don't need no money from y'all, but what I need right now is 40 people in here, and I need all 40 people to do me a favor. I need you guys to tell me exactly what y'all want to learn next. What brands do y'all want me to go over? What brands do y'all want me to address? And things of that nature. Just let me know. Shoot right now. Let me know in the comments, and then once you let me know, then we'll go. But I really, really need to know, and you have time. I'm gonna play this full song, and then I'll just come back and say bye, and then we'll end. But I truly need to know what you need, and it's one of my favorite songs. So, oh no, it's not. Hold on. Where did it go?
Don't call.
Not that one. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet, you guys. Let me know what you need, please, 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 please.
Hard to get, tease me, boy, I'm a Mr. Fred. Work for bread, so coy, take it slow to lead. Hurts, seductive when you look at me that way. Irresistible, but I try. Hypnotic, making you wait, so erotic. Perks, and I want you to want me, yeah, yeah. I want you to crave me as tension is building, yeah, yeah, and driving us crazy. Powerful sex appeal, but we play it cool. Touch, push and pull, that friction so sensual. Clutch, draw me in when you handle me that way. Where you've been all my life, just play by the rules. Baby, hold out until it's too much. And I want you to want me, yeah, yeah. I want you to crave me as tension is building, yeah, yeah, and driving us crazy. Sun is hitting my face, I'm unfazed, I need this. Calling out my name, say meet me, see these waves. Now I go under, hold my breath and flow. Trust the current takes me safe for sure. Now this is my remedy, let the seas sway with me. We're getting my energy, let the seas sway with me. My remedy, let the seas sway with me. Getting my energy, let the seas sway with me. Try to swim away, crash just like a tidal wave. I go under, hold my breath and flow. Trust the current takes me safe for sure. Now this is my remedy, remedy. Let the seas sway with me, with me. We're getting my energy, energy. Let the seas sway with me, sway with me. My remedy, remedy. Let the seas sway with me, with me. Getting my energy, energy. Let the seas sway with me, sway with me. Feels like gravity can't touch me when I'm here. Look at me levitate, look at me levitate. Carry all this weight, but still I'm light as air. Now I go under, hold my breath and flow. Trust the current takes me safe for sure. No, I gotta go under, hold my breath and let it go. Trust the current takes me safe for sure. Now this is my remedy, remedy. Let the seas sway with me, with me. We're getting my energy, energy. Let the seas sway with me, sway with me. My remedy, remedy. Let the seas sway with me, with me. Getting my energy, energy. Let the seas sway with me, sway with me. Sway with me, sway with me.
Okay, ladies, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry if I skipped over anybody. I don't want nobody to be mad at me. Okay. But I think I got everybody's comment up. If I missed anybody, I am sorry. I'll make sure that I go back and rewatch this video whenever it's time for me to start planning out my videos. I'm asking you guys exactly what y'all want to hear about, because I'm still gonna make my reaction fun videos that I want, but in between those I do still want to help y'all out, right? And one thing that I do need everybody to do is go ahead and subscribe to my new channel, right? Called Send the Scientist. And I'm almost monetized at that on that channel. I just need to get 1,000 subscribers. That's all I need. And I'm almost there. We are at 981. Hold on, I'm gonna share the screen with y'all. So that way I can make all of y'all feel bad, because it's no reason why I should be able to get there by the end of the week. You know what I'm saying? So hold on, let me show you real quick. Hold on. Just want to show y'all real quick what it looked like. So here is the other channel, Send Out the Scientist, right? And so I probably won't put this full replay here on this channel, but I'll put this full replay over there, because this is where the majority of my scientific content will live, right? It's over here on the Send Out the Scientist channel, because I'll focus all of my attention on the science of the human scalp and the human body. I still have quite a few longer lectures over there, like the last video 2 hours, another one is an hour, another one's an hour. So of course that will be doing like more lecture like videos over here. So if you like these types of videos, there are even more over on the Send Out the Scientist channel, and this is where they will be indefinitely after today's video. After today, the only time I'll go live like this on this channel will be when I'm doing it in conjunction with the Send Out the Scientist channel. So y'all, I'm at 982 subscribers. Seriously, I can get to 1,000. I should be able to get to 1,000 subscribers by tomorrow. So if you're watching this right now and you've made it to the end, there is no reason for you not to go. Just type in Send the Scientist. The C is capital, the T is capital, and the S is capital. And just go and subscribe, baby. It's a free 99. You know what I'm saying? So give me a 2 in the chat. Let me know, you know what I'm saying, if you're going to go over there. Oh, you love that channel too? See, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. I appreciate y'all so much, right? So that's how we're ending this. You guys make sure you go over there, and I got you. Moroccan oil, I got you. So that's how I'm identifying now. Not seeing the cosmetologist or I am a holistic research scientist. If y'all like, oh, what do that girl do? What does she do? You can tell them I am a holistic research scientist. That is what you can tell everybody. That puts everything that I do under one umbrella, and it is the best title for me. Okay. I love you guys so much. Again, help me get this other scientific channel monetized and subscribe to that channel over there. Oh my God, I love you. I love you guys. I hope that you all get everything y'all want for Christmas. Not just for Christmas. I don't even celebrate Christmas, but whatever you've been praying for, whatever you've been wanting and trusting God for is there already. Already. Thank you. I love you guys so much. I love y'all. Y'all are amazing. Okay. I love y'all so much. And until next time, bye.